Hi everyone, welcome back to my studio. I'm gonna pick up where I left off with this one. Hmm. Well, I said that and then I immediately changed my mind. I started working with some new oranges and yellows here, and that got mixed in with this lemon yellow area. So I think that I might actually go more into the Giselle's body, and I think I'm gonna play with turning the canvas again. But turn it this way. Yeah, let me make sure that you can see the area I'm working on really well. Awesome. Hopefully you can hear me. We'll find out if my new microphone is working. If not, then we just won't have sound for this. Okay. Um, I want to use like all of these new pigments now. So some of the palette's about to get more interesting, which I think is time because I've been working on it for a long time, and I think I've done a lot with what was already on the canvas. Now we're gonna mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna spray some water to reactivate those colors over there. And I probably won't get into all of those colors today, but I have them out. I'm thinking about them. Yeah. Okay. So I'm loving this brush I'm working with. Someone in one of my videos that I was talking about this little detail brush that I like said they like this kind of brush. I can't remember the name of it right now. It's kind of like I can't look things up on my phone while I'm recording on my phone, which is fun, but I'm kind of not used to it. Anyways, she said that she used this kind of brush that it's kind of like a skinny, long, skinny brush. Um, so I found that I had one from like one of those like like 10-piece sets that you can get that are a good deal. And yeah, I was saying to my husband earlier that it would be cool to have like one really fancy brush, but I've gotten a lot of good use out of brushes that were not expensive at all. So I don't think that's necessary, is all I'm saying. So this was like a pack of like 12 brushes for like $10 or something. And I was like, oh, I have one of those brushes in there. And that's one thing that's nice about, um, not investing as much, as then you can kind of experiment more. I love that. Let's keep going. So there are some things that, well, I can't get as nitpicky with this as the detail brush. So that is double edged because it encourages me to loosen up a little, but but then also I um, am more likely to kind of make little mistakes like that. So that's okay. that's the thing about those tiny detail brushes, is that they can, especially if you tend to be like a little OCD, or, a little bit like I am like that. It can, sometimes you want to just play into your strengths and be really detail oriented like that, but it's also good to sometimes break out of it. So that's all. Good to be detail oriented, but sometimes it's good to um, use a tool that forces you to look at it from a different perspective once in a while. And like I said, I do, always think about balancing big and small space. So I'm always going back and forth between, the itty bitty detailed areas and like these big gestural abstract shapes that I like to use. And I pull those together a lot. Um, but this brush is kind of an interesting combination for me because it's kind of like a detail brush, but it's also like a very thin, tiny, like kind of classic watercolor brush like this one. So yeah, so it's really an interesting. It encourages me to use more like gestural movement in the strokes of the brush. Um, but it's still on a very small scale. So it's kind of like a detail brush, but not really. And I'm really grateful. I don't remember who it was on TikTok who suggested or said that they liked using this kind of brush, and I took it as a as a suggestion. And yeah, thank you. So having a lot of fun working with that the last couple of days. And I don't know if this is their intention in recommending it, but it might have been that it's helping me break out of being a little bit too nitpicky on. It's a really common issue for people to have. Like I said, it's good to be detail oriented, but sometimes you need to broaden your thinking a little. Mm-mm. And a lot of watercolor folks, like my teacher would have, she said something to the effect of like, it's better to work through like having a brush like this, or like the other watercolor brush that I showed you, is like she just had one brush that she'd been using for 30 years. That was like her brush. And so she could do anything basically with that brush. And a lot of watercolor people really value that, of just like, it's better to just work with one size of brush and learn how to do everything with it, because that's part of the art of watercolor. So I think there's a lot of value to that. And um, I've experimented with that, but right now what I want to do is experiment with this different brush sets that I have. And I'm kind of honing in on, maybe one day I'll get a nice one of this that that will become like my brushes that I hope to kind of work towards only having one or two that I work with, that they're kind of like wands, like magic wands. Yeah. Still getting the hang of controlling this brush for sure, but coming along. And because that didn't go where I wanted it to, I'm just going to leave that area alone for now. I'm really happy with these bright areas, and I want to go into this red. I'll probably do that later with the pigments I showed you earlier, with like these guys. But yeah, I'm bringing some new pigments into this painting. I'm hoping it'll really add some depth to the palette. I'm sorry I keep accidentally jiggling the phone when I clean the brush because I have my water cup. I have my phone's charging and I'm accidentally bumping the cord, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to kind of rearrange to avoid that. And I want to turn my canvas. Great. Okay. I hope everyone's having a good Monday. Or whatever day it is when you watch this video. Yeah, this brush is so versatile. I think I'm gonna just totally fall in love with it. I'm starting to get the hang of it, and I can totally see what she meant about like you can do almost everything with this brush. Mm-mm. Okay, been about 20 minutes. I think that's a good place to stop. I have covered all the areas I want to cover in that bright orange. Thank you for joining me today. Stay hydrated, and I'll see you next time.